The plane hummed steadily above the clouds, sunlight breaking through the silver mist as passengers settled into their morning routines. Somewhere between the clatter of coffee cups and the soft murmur of travelers, a man sat quietly in seat 12F, a single dad, his weathered hands resting over a worn photograph tucked into his lap. He wasn't dressed like anyone special, just jeans, a faded jacket, and a look in his eyes that carried both peace and pain, the kind of silence that comes only after years of storms. But as the engines roared and the captain's voice crackled through the speakers, something far beyond the cabin walls was about to awaken, something buried deep within him, something the world had once called Titan I. If you believe in kindness, courage, and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to channel name. Your support helps us keep telling stories that remind us how one quiet moment can hide a lifetime of bravery. The man's name was Ethan Cole, a single father traveling home after visiting his 7-year-old son, Noah, who lived with his grandparents in Virginia. Life had changed drastically in the past few years. Once a decorated Air Force pilot, Ethan had been known for his unmatched precision in the sky. Titan I, his call sign, had echoed across the radio waves during countless missions that never made it to the evening news. But everything changed after the mission over Kandahar, the one that left his co-pilot gone, his career in ashes, and his heart full of guilt. He walked away from the Air Force that day, traded his flight suit for mechanic's overalls, and promised himself he'd never fly again. As the plane cruised smoothly at 35,000 feet, Ethan gazed out the window, watching the clouds roll like ocean waves. His seatbelt buckle glinted in the sunlight. Around him, life went on as usual, laughter, idle talk, and the distant cry of a baby. But inside his chest, memories roared louder than any jet engine. He thought of Noah's smile that morning at the airport, of the little hand that waved goodbye, and of the promise he made, "I'll be home soon, buddy. Always." Then, it happened. A sudden jolt shook the plane, not turbulence, but something sharper, like a punch in the sky. The lights flickered once, then steadied. A murmur rippled through the cabin. The captain's calm voice came over the intercom, but there was tension underneath it. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We're experiencing a minor technical issue. Everything is under control." Ethan's instincts, the kind he had buried, started to stir. He could tell by the tone of the engines, by the angle of the wings, by the faint tremor under his feet, that something wasn't right. The smell of fuel grew faintly stronger. He closed his eyes for a second, the muscle memory of 1,000 flight hours whispering in his mind. He wasn't just a passenger anymore. He was a pilot listening to the sky's distress call. Moments later, the plane dipped sharply to the left. Gasps filled the cabin. The attendants moved quickly, trying to calm everyone, but their voices trembled. Ethan unbuckled his seatbelt. A young flight attendant hurried over, eyes wide. "Sir, please stay seated." He nodded gently but leaned closer, his voice steady. "What's the issue?" She hesitated, but fear broke through her training. "Communication failure. The captain can't reach ground control or our navigation system." In that instant, Ethan knew what that meant. They were flying blind in controlled airspace. A civilian aircraft without a